This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
Good evening. A proposal to build a new materials processing plant in Verdi drew hundreds of concerned residents to a meeting tonight. Take a look. The asphalt recycling facility would be built on a 6.5-acre lot just off of I-80 on Crystal Park Road. That lot has in the past been used as a quarry and another materials processing site, but it hasn't been in use since 2012. We spoke with developers and residents at tonight's meeting. Passionate cheering and also some heckling filled this meeting at Verdi Elementary. Residents are fighting a proposed facility just down the road from the school that would break down construction materials.
The goal is to take concrete and asphalt that would otherwise go to a landfill and recycle it.
But getting it off the ground looks to be an uphill battle.
I'm adamantly opposed to it, and everybody that I know that's residential here, that stays here, is as mad as I am.
I think he's found out that he's woke up a sleeping giant.
Project developers say having the facility in Verdi would streamline construction for residential and commercial growth in nearby developments, since right now materials have to be trucked in from about 30 miles away.
It's hugely inefficient, all the trucking. Anything you're doing green to recycle is outweighed by all that extra fuel that's spent transporting those long distances.
Couts says his process is LEED certified, designed as energy efficient and environmentally safe. But some residents don't buy it.
This proposed operation will release particulates into the air and into the groundwater.
Couts says they have an internal system to minimize dust, and the water they use would stay on site. Addressing concerns about noise pollution, Couts pointed out that the project is flanked by a railroad crossing and a highway, which he says already create more noise than the facility would. Still, the worry over diminished quality of life have these residents saying no.
I wish the developer luck literally down the road.
The project's special use permit was approved by the Reno Planning Commission, but it still needs approval from the City Council. If it gets approved, Couts said it could be operational within a few months. New tonight at 11, Reno police are trying to figure out what led to a shooting that left 2 women dead tonight. Police say they responded to a home in the 1000 block of Brentwood Drive around 7:15 p.m. There, officers found 2 women in the backyard with gunshot wounds. Police say both were taken to the hospital but died shortly after they arrived. Detectives are still trying to figure out a motive and even who fired the gun, but right now they say they're not looking for any suspects. They believe the 2 women lived together in the home but could not say how they're related, only that they're about 30 years apart in age. One man is facing charges tonight after he shot another man. But the story took a strange twist when the victim retaliated by beating the shooter with a baseball bat. Sparks police say both were driving on Stanford Way around 10 a.m. when the suspect started ramming the victim's car, causing a crash at the intersection of J Street. They say there, the suspect shot the victim with a handgun. The victim managed to get the gun from the shooter, but then beat him with a baseball bat. Investigators say the victim then drove himself to the hospital in the suspect's truck.
It's very common for us initially, especially with a small caliber weapon, for somebody, like you said, with adrenaline going, to not know initially they were shot. That's very common. We see that quite a bit.
Officers arrested the suspect, identified as 18-year-old Cesar Romero, after he was released from the hospital. If you have any information that could help police investigate, call Secret Witness at 322-4900 or text your tip to 847-411.
Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's first look at the Pinpoint 2 forecast.
Well, the skies, apart from a few high clouds here and there, have cleared out pretty well, and our temperatures are starting to on the way back up as well. It looks like after the very, very wet weekend, we're going to be back into an extended period of dry conditions, so it's good that we got over a month's worth of precipitation in just 3 days' time, because I don't see any else coming in at least for another week or so. In terms of that, temperature-wise today, we're back up just a tiny bit from yesterday. 55 degrees here, about 5 above average, 49 up at the lake. You notice temperatures in the 50s pretty much all across the state, and we're going to see those start to rise up here a little bit over the next several days, probably close to the mid-60s by the time we hit the holiday weekend. Big low offshore. This is a real similar storm to last time, except it's about 500 miles further to the west, and it's riding up over our ridge of high pressure. And so as a result, we'll start things off tomorrow on a sunny note. It will cool down to the upper 20s here, lower 20s at Lake Tahoe. So a chilly start, but a warmer finish. We'll tell you how warm coming up here in a few minutes.
Well, Massachusetts is activating about 500 National Guard troops to help dig out Boston and other areas buried in snow. 3 record-breaking storms in the past 2 weeks have taken a heavy toll on much of New England.
And we've received in 2 weeks over 2 winters worth of snow.
Now, there's also growing concern about all the snow sitting on top of homes and businesses. Forecasters are expecting a break in the weather today and tomorrow, but another potentially big storm is headed that way on Thursday. Today, Governor Sandoval sat down for an interview with Channel 2 News this morning. John Potter reports on what he said about funding education and why he says the tax plan his office sent to the Nevada legislature is the way to do it.
You've come on our morning show before. Why was it important for you to come out?
Well, first, I like visiting with you. But secondly, it's important to me to talk about education.
The governor is trying to win over the public and legislature on what he proposes to help fund education. $1.1 billion in new and extended taxes.
The way we fund our schools is the same way we did it 50 years ago. The state has changed and the demographics have changed, and we need to match the way we fund our schools with modern times.
50 years ago, it was primarily gaming footing the bill. Today,
the gaming revenue piece is dropping dramatically. Right now, the gaming win is only 38% of what the gaming industry earns in their properties. It's turned to retail, it's turned to food and beverage, it's turned to entertainment.
Which explains his push for a new business license fee, funding he won't consider despite the money Colorado is making on recreational marijuana for Nevada.
I do oppose it. I've spoken with the governor of Colorado. There may be revenue there, but there are also a lot of social issues that come along with that.
Which in turn he says will cost money. Other issues?
Something that surprised a great many of us was appointing Pedro Martinez. Can you tell us a little bit about the reasoning behind that?
He is an expert at doing turnaround schools, and I felt he was the perfect person at the right time.
How do you think the interview went this morning?
I think it went great. And again, I love visiting with you. You asked some tough questions, fair questions, and I look forward to returning.
You will come back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Covering the story, John Potter, Channel 2 News.
And with education funding playing a big role in this year's state legislative session, we spoke with Governor Sandoval about maybe using a state lottery for revenue. Today, the Powerball hit $485 million, and lines to buy tickets just over the California border were constant. The governor tells us he opposes that idea here in the Silver State. First, he says it's unconstitutional, and second, he says it's bad policy for Nevada.
I really don't think government should be competing with the private sector, and I think that I know the lottery has been discussed, but it would have to go to a vote of the people in order to get approved.
But you're not going to back it.
I am not.
The idea of a lottery has been defeated in Nevada dozens of times and is strongly opposed by the gaming lobby in Carson City. In Health Watch, officials are now monitoring for a possible measles case in Elko County. The State Division of Public and Behavioral Health now says the probable case of measles involves a student at Sage Elementary School in Spring Creek. 12 other students at that school who are not vaccinated have been asked to stay home pending the results of lab tests. Meanwhile, a young child who was also a probable case for the measles in Churchill County has now tested negative for that disease. Tomorrow at the White House, President Obama is expected to announce the withdrawal of most U.S. troops in West Africa who are fighting Ebola. Of the 2,800 troops that were deployed, 1,500 have already returned home, and the U.S. only plans to leave about 100 in place after April 30th. The White House says many of the functions the military has been handling will now be performed by civilians. And the deadline is approaching if you want to enroll for health care under the Affordable Care Act. In Nevada, that means signing up with the state-based health exchange, Nevada HealthLink. Applicants have until this Sunday to sign up, and those who do not have health insurance by the deadline face financial penalties. And Northern Nevadans can either sign up at the HealthLink enrollment store on Longley and McCarran, or they can do it online. For a link with information, head to KTVN.com and click the News Links button. Well, NBC News anchor Brian Williams has been suspended for 6 months without pay following admissions that he misremembered his experiences in the Iraq War. NBC calls the decision difficult, but says Williams broke viewers' trust. Chris Van Cleve reports from New York.
Brian Williams took himself off the anchor desk at Nightly News with the intention of returning in a matter of days. Tuesday night, NBC executives extended that leave for 6 months, suspending Williams without pay. NBC News President Deborah Turnus released a statement saying, "This was a very hard decision. Certainly there will be those who disagree, but we believe this suspension is the appropriate and proportionate action." Friday, January 30th, Williams misrepresented events that occurred during his coverage of the Iraq War.
When the helicopter we were traveling in was forced down after being hit by an RPG. Our traveling NBC News team was rescued, surrounded, and kept alive by an armored mechanized platoon from the U.S. Army 3rd Infantry.
Army veteran David Luke flew in that mission and does not recall Williams being on board the helicopter that was hit.
It's important to get the facts right.
Williams later acknowledged his error.
I want to apologize. I said I was traveling in an aircraft that was hit by RPG fire. I was instead in a following aircraft.
NBC says it is also investigating other comments Williams made about his experiences in the field. In New York, Chris Van Cleve, Channel 2 News.
Well, today, Jon Stewart, who has been hosting The Daily Show on Comedy Central for nearly 2 decades, announced he is leaving the program. Stewart has been hosting the program since 1999 and will leave the show later this year. There's no word yet on what he will do afterward. In a statement, Comedy Central said working with him has been an honor and a privilege and praised his, quote, comedic brilliance. Still to come on Channel 2 News at 11, we are learning more about an American woman taken hostage and killed by Islamic State. We'll show you how her hometown honored Kayla Mueller. Plus, we'll take you inside an effort to revitalize a downtown Reno eyesore.
Yeah, it looks like our weather's going to stay dry here now for the rest of this week. And those temperatures are going to be right back up into the 60s here in a couple of days. Details next.
You're watching Channel 2 News at 11, Northern Nevada's #1 newscast with Ariana Bennett. Sports with Garrett Dearborn and Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast. Channel 2 News continues with Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast, broadcast certified by the American Meteorological Society.
The only real cloud cover we saw today, and quite honestly likely to see here over the next several days, is going to be some of the high thin ones breaking over this ridge of high pressure that's built back into the area. As a result, it may make some nice sunsets, but it's not going to be bringing us any more precipitation, unfortunately. It's a good thing we got as much as we did over the weekend, which was more than a month's worth anyway in just a couple of days. 39 degrees outside right now with fair skies, a few high clouds still here and there. Humidity at 70% with a dew point up to 30 degrees. Barometric pressure is rising but very slowly, and that wind has calmed down here to really pretty much nothing at all. High temperature today, 55, the low of 28. 28's right about average, although we were 5 above the average on that high. And we're going to see that number continue to creep up here over the next several days. The air quality today was in the good range, and you have a green light for the burn code. All right, so what's going on here? It's a big ridge of high pressure, again, building back in. Now, this next storm system, unlike the last one, is not going to really move on. We are going to probably see just enough high cloudiness breaking over the top here to give us a little bit of a break to the blue skies every now and again. But you can see already we're starting to clear these skies off here from the clouds overnight tonight. And in the next 24 hours, really, that's about all we're going to see are fairly clear skies. A little high cloudiness maybe late in the afternoon tomorrow, and then we go from Wednesday into Thursday. Builds up even more. We're probably then going to boost our temperatures up into the 60s with all the clouds going well to our north, in fact, all the way out of the state. Temperature-wise tomorrow, we will see 50s, maybe a low 60 there in Hawthorne. The overnight lows are going to be cold in the teens in most locations down there. Northern part of the state here, they're going to be a little bit, some of the lows will be a little warm, but still well down below the freezing mark. 24 in Dayton, 23 in Fallon, teens to low 20s elsewhere. High temperatures tomorrow, again, just very slowly creeping up here. We'll see upper 50s pretty much across the board. For the Reno area tonight, low temperature, I expect about 27 degrees here in Reno with a high temperature tomorrow, 58 degrees. So a degree cooler tonight, and then a few degrees warmer tomorrow, 57 in Carson City, and again up at Lake Tahoe, 56, 57 degrees. We're going to start to build in a little bit of that temperature inversion here that we saw not too long ago. Overnight lows in your neighborhoods, basically in the low to mid 20s. High temperatures tomorrow, close to today, maybe adding a couple of degrees and then a few more as we get toward the end of the work week. So Lake Tahoe tomorrow, sunny skies. We'll look for patchy freezing fog, mainly around the Truckee area. It's just a tiny chance of that. East winds to 10 and a high of 56. For Reno, we'll look for sunshine pretty much all day long tomorrow. We'll see an east breeze to 10 in the morning, light winds in the afternoon. Our high tomorrow, 58 degrees. Extended forecast then at this point. Mentioned getting back in the 60s and staying there right through President's Day weekend. May start to see some cloud cover come in on Sunday and Monday, but at this point it doesn't look like it's going to give us much more than a little shade in the afternoon.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Coming up, an Arizona community is mourning the death of U.S. aid worker Kayla Mueller. We'll show you how she kept her spirits high despite being held captive. Welcome back. Kayla Mueller's hometown of Prescott, Arizona is mourning the death of the aid worker who had been held hostage by Islamic State militants, or ISIS, since 2013. Intelligence sources confirmed that a photo sent to her family over the weekend is of Mueller's body, but it's not clear how or exactly when she died. Danielle Nottingham has the story.
Family and friends in Prescott, Arizona are remembering Kayla Mueller as a selfless young woman who tried to make the world a better place.
She has done more in her incredible 26 years than many people could ever imagine doing in their lifetime.
Mueller's family received an email from Islamic State terrorists, or ISIS, over the weekend with a photo of Kayla's body. U.S. intelligence experts could confirm only that she had died recently, but the cause of her death is unknown. ISIS claims she died in a Jordanian airstrike on this building in Syria. U.S. officials say there is no evidence she was ever there. President Obama told BuzzFeed.com the U.S. tried to rescue Mueller.
I deployed an entire operation at significant risk to rescue not only her, but the other individuals that had been held, and probably missed them by a day or two.
Last spring, Mueller wrote her parents from prison saying, "If you could say I have suffered at all throughout this whole experience, it is only in knowing how much suffering I have put you all through."
In Kayla's letter to Marsha and Carl, she wrote, "I have come to see there is good in every situation. Sometimes we just have to look for it. And right now that's what we're all trying to do."
Her family says they will work to honor Kayla's legacy. Danielle Nottingham, Channel 2 News.
In other news around the world tonight, U.S. intelligence officials estimate 20,000 foreign fighters from 90 countries have joined the Islamic State in Syria and Iraq. That includes about 3,400 from Western nations. Separately, intelligence agencies believe that as many as 150 Americans have tried or succeeded in reaching the war zone. Some have died there, and a small number are still fighting with extremists. New tonight, the State Department is confirming that it has closed the U.S. Embassy in Yemen and evacuated its staff. There have been security concerns now that Shiite rebels have taken over much of the country, but U.S. officials say the embassy closure would not affect counterterrorism operations against al-Qaeda's Yemen branch. Fighting has picked up in eastern Ukraine, where government troops and pro-Russia rebels are each claiming significant advances. The increase in violence comes ahead of a crucial summit planned tomorrow in Belarus involving the leaders of France, Germany, Russia, and Ukraine. Meanwhile, the top Republican and Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee are asking for $1 billion in lethal defense aid to Ukraine. Coming up next, a rundown hotel in downtown Reno is getting a multi-million-dollar facelift. We'll take you inside the King's Inn next in Money Watch. In Money Watch tonight, after sitting vacant since 1986, the King's Inn is getting a facelift. The demolition phase of the remodel project is underway this week. Construction crews are gutting the King's Inn in the first phase of the multi-million-dollar project. Everything from the elevators to the plumbing will be completely replaced. Bentar Development bought the property late last year with plans to convert the building into 144 apartment units. For nearly 3 decades, the King's Inn has withered into what many people describe as disrepair.
Sitting vacant and really being an eyesore, not only to the area, but also a real negative about our downtown. It's great to see something happening, something positive.
Thomas says this is great news for revitalizing downtown Reno as more people move to that area. A Home Depot is hiring 80,000 part-time seasonal workers, including 300 right here in the Reno area in preparation for spring. Jobs include cashiers, sales associates, and employees to fill online orders. The hirings come as Home Depot prepares for a rush of customers ready to start spring and summer projects. For a link to apply, head to KTVN.com and click the blue News Links button. Coming up in sports, the Wolfpack basketball team was looking for a second win in a row tonight. Garrett tells us if they could pull it off at Utah State. But also a full slate of high school games tipped off tonight. We will check in on their highlights next in sports. Welcome back, Garrett Dearborn, and now with a look at sports. Wolfpack basketball playing on the road, tough opponent.
Ooh, yeah, especially in their house. Yeah, after a win at San Jose State, the Wolfpack was looking to start up a win streak at Utah State tonight. And of course, Spectrum, always a tough place to play. The Aggies have won 88% of their games there since 1998, and you can chalk up another one in the win column for the Aggies at home. Late first, down 8. It's Eric Cooper looking 3-ball, and he's got it. He led Nevada with 14 points, and it was a 5-point game. Time running out in the half, and how about the moves from Tyron Criswell, putting the circus ones on and dropping the bucket. The Pack was down 9 at the break. Second half wasn't pretty for the silver and blue. A.J. West had 10 points and 7 rebounds in this one, but the Aggies led by as much as 19 en route to a 75-62 win. The Pack hosts New Mexico Saturday. High school basketball in a battle for second in the Sierra League with Carson at Minogue on the Miners senior night. First quarter, no score until Justin DeGauss spots up from downtown, hits the 3-ball, so it's Miners by 3. but Carson would answer. Off the ace, a Carter miss. Cameron Price slashes for the putback. It's a 1-point game. A little bit later, Colin Bernard working the ball inside to Zach Teets, who's got himself a lay-in, but not enough as Carson spoils senior night 49-45. Over to Worcester as the Colts host the Galena Grizzlies. Second quarter off the inbounds, Josiah Wood, Zach Lessinger, pump fake, and then drives in. Get off me! Throws that one down. Grizz lead is 17. Next time down the court, it's Wood pushing the tempo. He will go to the basket and gets a shot to go off the glasses. Galena extending their lead. Worcester able to answer as Martin Orozco drives across the lane and flips one up and in, but this one all Galena as they win 82-43. Earlier, some girls basketball from Reed High School. Reno in the house. Huskies in control. Michaela Schultz drives to the hoop and gets the layup to fall. Dogs lead by 16. On the other end, Reed answers. Serena Townsell Williams flips it up and she gets the bucket, but Reno continuing the attack. Megan Dorico, the layup not going to be good here, but when you have Mallory McGuire, that's an easy putback. She's pretty darn good. Reno stays undefeated in league play, 54-32. The Reno Bighorns were in Delaware this morning, taking on the 87ers, and down 12-4. The Horns mount the comeback. The D-League's top prospect, Jordan Hamilton, the layup. He finished with 24 points. The Horns were within 6. Tawan Porter's 35 was not enough. Delaware wins a shootout, 145-138. Reno was in action Thursday at Canton. Well, with the baseball season getting set for first pitch this weekend, the Mountain West has released its preseason polls, and the Wolfpack was picked to finish third. The Pack actually picked up a first-place vote from a coach and tied with UNLV in total votes for the 3 spot. As for some Wolfpack fellows that got on the all-conference team, 3 of them from the Pack. Home run leader from last year, Austin Byler, Kubi Meyer, and utility man designated hitter Trenton Brooks. The Pack opens up the 2015 season at Abilene Christian on Friday.
Talking about baseball already, I feel like basketball season just started.
I know, it's coming to an end on the high school scene anyway.
Goodness, yeah. All right, thanks, Garrett. We'll be right back. Well, not a whole lot on the horizon now, huh?
No, we got it all at once, and it looks like we're going to wait a while before we get it again. It's fairly sunny skies the next several days here. Temperatures will rise back up slowly into the 60s by Thursday, staying there throughout the President's Day weekend, and it looks like we'll drop back just a little bit by the first part of next week here. But at this point, even looking out 7, 8, maybe 9 days, I don't see anything coming our way.
All right, well, your next newscast is tomorrow morning at 4:30. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks.
And good morning, everyone. Garrett Dearborn here with your Morning in Sports. We'll start you off with the Wolfpack basketball team. After a win at San Jose State, the Pack was looking to start up a new win streak at Utah State last night. And, of course, the Spectrum, always a tough place to play. The Aggies came into this one having won just over 88% of their games there since 1998. And, yeah, they tallied another W there. Late first, down 8. It's Eric Cooper with the 3-ball. And Cooper led Nevada with 14 points. It was a 5-point ball game at that point, but time running out in the half. And how about the moves from Tyron Criswell? Check him out going inside.